Oh, I see the record button. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tim Mackey. I am the broker for benefits for One Step Beyond. In association with Black Gould and Associates, I want to welcome you to the 2021 Benefits Open Enrollment Meeting. Today, what we're going to go ahead and cover is both health insurance, dental, vision, and we're going to also include some other benefits from Colonial, Healthiest You, Norton LifeLock, Legal Shield. So I hope you enjoy this presentation. If you have a question during the course of the presentation, if you wouldn't mind, in the upper right-hand corner, I don't know if they can see if you can see my arrow or not. In the upper right corner is a chat feature. The chat feature will go ahead and enable you to type your question in there, and then we'll answer those questions at the end of the presentation if we have not gone ahead and answered them already. With that being said, I'm going to kick it off by giving it over to Sarah Galwitzer from Black Gould and Associates.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah Galwitzer, and I work with your broker, Tim Mackey, as your dedicated client service manager. Tim and I do not work for any of these carriers that we're presenting. So we work for you, and we work for One Step Beyond. So the reason I want to point that out is because we know that insurance can be confusing. You know, you might get something in the mail that you don't understand or have a problem finding a doctor or whatever. And that's exactly the types of things that Tim and I are here to help you with. Right now it's your open enrollment period, but we're in the background for you guys all year long. So if you do ever have any questions or insurance issues, please reach out to your HR and they can get you in contact with Tim and myself, and we can help you work through any issues that you're going with. Today, I'm going to go over your medical, dental, vision benefits here. And I gotta, sorry here, get my computer back. So we're just welcoming you to open enrollment. Open enrollment is the time of year that you can make any changes to your benefits, whether that is making a plan change, adding or removing a dependent from your plan, whatever the case may be. Now's the point in time that you're allowed to do that. If you don't do that now, you're going to be locked in with what you have for the next 12 months. So anything, any changes that you want to make during these next 12 months, you need to have what's called a qualified life event in order to make any of those changes. So a qualified life event is something, for example, I'm just trying to find the page here. Here we go. Loss or gain of coverage. If you are currently enrolled on a spouse's plan, for example, and then sometime throughout the year you lose that coverage, that's considered a qualified life event. Now you can jump onto the to these plans here through your employer. Same thing if your dependent loses other coverage, you can put them onto your plan mid-policy year. If you get married or you get divorced, it's also a qualified life event if you have a birth or adoption of a child. So these are big changes in your life that would allow you to make benefit changes in the middle of the policy year. So just keep that in mind, that you have 30 days from that event to notify HR and make those changes. So the carriers are pretty strict on that deadline. So what you don't want to do is get married in October and then come to them in January and say you want to add your spouse onto the plan, because by then it will be too late and you'll need to wait until open enrollment comes around again before you can add your spouse. Okay, some pages that I just kind of flipped past and didn't really mean to is our contact information. All of you guys should have this booklet, but here's all of the contact information for what we're going to go over today and some of the presenters today. Just a handy tool to keep near you so you can contact these carriers should you need to. Okay. There's also a page in here of definitions. I'm going to kind of go over these definitions as I delve into the actual benefits here, but just some things to keep in mind, the differences between a deductible, co-insurance, co-pay, out-of-pocket maximum, things like that, which I will be going over. Okay. Another important deadline that I want to point out is when you are going to be able to make these changes. You're going to be doing that through Kronos, and Brittany Walker is going to be talking about that at the end of the presentation on how you can go about doing that. But those changes are going to be made starting June 26th through July 6th. So you want to make sure that you're logging in and making any changes by July 6th so that we can get your information to the carriers so they can update their systems and everybody is good to go in the system come August 1st, which is when these new benefits are going to take effect. Okay. So we're just going to jump right into it. The first, what we're going to go over is your medical policies. And your medical policies are through Kaiser Permanente of California. And there's 3 separate plan options that you can choose between. So I'm just going to go over them one at a time. I'm going to get my little handy spotlight here. And the first plan I'm going to go over is the $2,000 deductible plan. Okay. This plan and all of the plans, it's worth noting that they are HMO plans, which means that you need to choose a primary care physician. And that's going to be the physician that you go to for any of your needs. They will be the ones who will refer you to a specialist should you need to see a specialist. And so you're going to want to make sure that you choose the doctor that's in your network. Okay. Now this first plan that I'm going to go over has a $2,000 employee deductible, $4,000 for family. Your coinsurance is 20%, and your out-of-pocket maximum is $4,000 for an employee, $8,000 for family. So I know that that kind of sounds confusing, so let me explain how that works. If in a situation where you're admitted to the hospital or you have to have a surgery, for example, you are responsible for your deductible first. So the deductible means that that's the amount of that you have to reach first before the insurance carrier, Kaiser, is going to come in and start paying a percentage of your bills. So if you have to have that surgery, you're going to pay this $2,000 first. Once you've met that $2,000, now Kaiser comes in, they start to pay. They're going to pay 80% of the bills after you've met your deductible, and you're going to pay 20% of the bills. Once you've come out of your pocket a total between your deductible and your coinsurance, a total of $4,000, your out-of-pocket maximum, that means you've met your out-of-pocket maximum, and for the rest of the calendar year, you're not going to be paying anything else. So it's a true out-of-pocket maximum amount that you would pay. So keep that in mind. I like to sort of point out that out-of-pocket maximum as, you know, a worst-case scenario type situation. That's going to be the amount that you're going to be out of your pocket the most, okay? But most of us don't really have to go into the hospital for a surgery if we're lucky. What we use our insurance for is mostly going to the doctor, okay? So if you go to the doctor on this, you have a $20 office visit copay, which is really nice. If you go to the urgent care, it's also a $20 copay. If you have to go to the emergency room, you'll see right here it says 20%. What that means to you is that going to the emergency room is going to be expensive. It is going to be subject to your deductible of $2,000, and then anything after that is going to be 20%. So they do that to really try to keep you away from the emergency room unless it's a true emergency. So if it's something that you can see your primary care doctor for or go to the urgent care for, you're really going to be saving yourself a lot of money, $20 copay, rather than, you know, having to possibly meet your $2,000 deductible and coinsurance and everything like that. Now, of course, if it is a true emergency, we want you to go there, and likely then you would be admitted to the hospital, which is going to be deductible and coinsurance anyway. Okay. We also have copays on this plan for your prescriptions. It's a $10 copay for your generic drugs, $30 copay for your brand drugs, and then your specialty medication is subject to that 20% coinsurance. So specialty medications are, you know, some cancer drugs, MS drugs, things like that. The higher cost drugs are going to be subject to your deductible and your coinsurance. But most of the time you're looking at this $10 and $30 copay for your medication. Okay. Now the cost for this plan is listed below. These are your employee deductions for your 24 pay periods throughout the year. And based on how you enroll, here's going to be what would be coming out of your paycheck. Okay. So this is what we would consider your base plan. Okay. It's going to be the least that's coming out of your paycheck, but it's also going to be the most coming out of your pocket should you need care. You have that higher $4,000 out-of-pocket maximum. Okay. The next plan that I'm going to go over is the HMO plan. It has a $0 deductible, and the out-of-pocket maximum is $1,500. So this plan works similar to this previous plan that I went over, except that there's not a deductible. So if you do have to have that surgery on this plan, there's no amount that you have to pay first. You're simply paying the 20% coinsurance, and Kaiser's paying 80% of the cost of any hospitalization that you would have to have. Okay, you still have your copays for your office visit, which is $20, urgent care, which is also $20. On this plan, you have a $100 copay, flat copay for emergency room treatment. Keeping in mind that, you know, sometimes tests and stuff that they do in the hospital could be subject to a 20% coinsurance amount, but that's your flat copay for your emergency room. Okay. Now on this plan, if you come out of your pocket a total of $1,500, then you've met your out-of-pocket maximum, and you wouldn't pay anything else for the remainder of the calendar year. Okay. This plan also has a little bit more copays for your prescription drugs. Your generic drugs is a $15 copay. Your preferred brand drugs are $55 copay. Non-preferred brand, $85, and specialty is $150 copay. Now keep in mind that any copays that you're paying on any of these plans are also going toward your out-of-pocket maximum. Okay, so your out-of-pocket maximum includes your deductible, if you have one, your coinsurance, your 20% coinsurance that you're paying after you meet your deductible, and any copays that you're paying throughout the calendar year are all included in your out-of-pocket maximum. Okay, down here is the cost for employee only for this plan. One thing I wanted to point out is I think that in the booklets that you guys got, you might see a deductible on this that says $1,500, and on this one also that says $3,000. That was a typo on our end, so I apologize for that. Both of these plans here do not have deductibles. Okay, so it's simply coinsurance if it's a hospital type setting situation. Okay, now this next plan is really similar to the one I just went over. It also has $0 deductibles. Your hospital is a $250 per day flat copay. Your emergency room is $100 copay. Office visits and urgent care is $30. Okay, this one has an out-of-pocket maximum of $3,000. And the cost for this one. So these are your three plans that you can look into and decide which one best fits your family. And if there's not any questions, I don't see anything in the chat box, I'm going to move on.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So what's the difference between the $77 and the $84? I mean, like, which one is better? Because I see here it's $3,000 and the other one is $1,500 for copay. I just get confused with both of that.
It does seem a little bit confusing, but I think that the difference is here on this plan right here. Although you have a higher out-of-pocket maximum, when you're in the hospital, you're not paying coinsurance. Okay, so basically you're just paying copays for everything that you do on this plan. $250 if you go into the hospital per day, $100 for emergency room. Everything that you're paying on this plan is just a flat copay that's going towards this $3,000 out-of-pocket maximum. So although it's higher, it kind of comes out of your pocket a little bit slower, and that sort of makes people feel like, they have a major surgery, they're not going to get stuck with a bill that's $1,000. They're just however many days that they're in the hospital, maybe 2 days, they're going to have a $500 bill, for that stay. So,
and as a reminder, if you have a question, could you please type it in the chat box in the upper right-hand corner? That'll keep the presentation flowing right along. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
So it's all of these plans are great plans. It's just a matter of what works best for your family, how you want to be billed when you do need those services. So, I mean, this middle plan here is going to be the truest out-of-pocket, you know, the least amount that you would pay here. It would be this plan in the middle. But this plan is sort of going to be as you need those services, they're coming out slow. That money's kind of coming out of your pocket slower. So that's the difference there. So not a huge difference in price, just a little bit of a different way that the plan works. I'm just trying to get my tool back here. Okay, so we're going to move on to the dental plan. Your dental is going to be offered through Lincoln Financial Group this year. So I was hearing some things before the call about, you know, some issues that you guys might have had with the prior dental carrier, and so we're moving the dental insurance over to Lincoln Financial Group this year. The plan is pretty similar to the plan that you had, if not better benefits. So on this plan, any routine services that you have, exams, cleanings, that's covered at 100% as long as you go to an in-network provider, okay? You're not going to be paying anything for that, and there's not going to be a deductible that you'll have to meet. So you have your routine services that are covered at 100%. But let's say in that routine service, you have to have a, you know, cavity filled. You have to come back for that. That's going to be a basic service. And upon that second office visit, you're going to have a deductible to meet. So that's that's a $50 deductible for an employee, and it maxes at $150 total per family. So if it's just you and a spouse on the plan, it would be $50 for you, $50 for your spouse. Okay. If you have you and five children on the plan, it would be $50 for the first 3 people. Once you hit that $150 family deductible, then, you know, everybody else would not have a deductible. Okay. So if I have to have a cavity filled on this plan, I pay a $50 deductible, and then Lincoln pays 80% of the cost, and I pay 20% of the cost. If I have to have something major done, I've already met my deductible, great. I don't have to pay that $50. If I've already met my, if I haven't, then I'd pay that $50 copay, and then we split. Me and Lincoln and I, we do a 50-50 split on whatever that major service is. Now, the annual maximum is really important to understand on dental insurance. It's $1,500. And what the annual maximum means is that's the total amount that Lincoln is going to pay in claims per insured person in a calendar year. So keep that in mind. I like to tell people, you know, if you have to have some major dental work done, try to scheduling that towards the end of 2020, because come January 1st, though, that annual maximum is going to reset. So you'll have another $1,500 to spend. So just keep that in mind. Once they've spent $1,500 in payout for claims for an individual, then they don't pay anything else. So nothing else will be covered past that $1,500. Okay. You do have out-of-network coverage on this dental plan, but please be careful when you go out-of-network. These percentages over here don't seem that bad. 80% for routine, 60 for basic, 40 for major. But what this is actually telling you is that that's the percentage that Lincoln Financial would pay if that dentist office was contracted. And an out-of-network dentist can charge you whatever they want. So you're actually going to be paying a lot more if you see an out-of-network dental provider. So you really want to make sure that you're seeing a contracted, that's the key word, dentist through Lincoln Financial Group. Okay. Another thing I wanted to point out is this plan does not cover orthodontics, and that there is not a waiting period for major services as long as you've had and can show proof of prior dental coverage. If you are coming on to the dental plan for the first time, then there is a 12-month waiting period for those major services that are billed at 50%. Okay, they just want to make sure that you've had that 12 months before they're going to cover anything in this major category. Okay. Oops, I see a lot of chats here. Okay, somebody asked me what part was a typo. Actually, you know what? I'm going to get to these questions at the end so that we can kind of keep flowing here. Yes, there's only one dental insurance plan to choose from. Your vision plan is through Avesis, and here's how that works. You have in-network and out-of-network coverage. For in-network, you just pay a flat $10 copay for your exam. Your materials are a $15 copay. So, for example, if I have to have glasses, I will pay my exam copay of $10. I pay my materials copay of $15. And then I have a $50 wholesale or $150 retail frame allowance, which means that I can buy frames up to that amount depending on where I'm purchasing them from. For example, if I'm purchasing them from a Costco, I'm going to have a $50 wholesale allowance. If I'm purchasing them from a retail store, it's going to be $150. Okay. Contact lenses, you have $130 allowance for that. And you can see a vision provider once every 12 months. So while this is effective August 1st, if you don't go and use your vision benefits until December, then next year you need to wait until December again before you can go see a vision provider. Okay, so it's a true once every 12 months frequency. Okay, if you go out of network, you can do that. Probably still going to be paying more out of pocket, but how that works is you pay your provider while you're at your visit. You save your receipts, and then you submit a claim form that you send to Avesis showing the amounts that you sent and that you spent, and they will reimburse you up to these copay amounts based on whatever you were charged. Okay. Now, before I pass this back, there was a question here on vision from Madison. Materials is what? Lenses. Yes, there is coverage for prescription lenses. This is just a really general overview of the Avesis policy, and we'll get you, if we haven't already sent to Brittany the full vision summary that shows all the different types of lenses. But your materials copay covers your frames and your lenses. So you can search for which providers take Avesis as a vision through right here, www.avesis.com. You can search for a list of providers that way. That was a question from Sydney. Okay. I just want to pop back up to the Kaiser because we had a couple of questions here on the medical. Okay, so the first question was, where was the typo in the booklets that you guys had? And the typos were right here for employee deductible for family on these last two plans. Both of those deductibles are $0 on these two plans. Okay, you'll see on your booklets it says $1,500 and $3,000 or $3,000 and $6,000. That's actually just an out-of-pocket maximum. Both of these plans do not have a deductible. Okay, so that was the first typo. When I say Alexandria Victoria is asking what is in-network versus out-of-network, an in-network provider is a contracted provider, meaning a doctor or a facility or a dentist or a dentist office that signs a contract with the insurance carrier to only charge a certain rate for services. So when you see a contracted provider, you're going to get to pay, the least amount because they are only allowed to charge you a certain amount. If you go to a doctor that's not contracted or an out-of-network doctor, they can charge you whatever they want, and there's nothing that the insurance carrier can do to tell them to charge you, any less for a procedure. So when you stay in the network, you're going to have the best cost and the best price for any services that you're getting. Okay, I think that was all of the questions here. Let me just, before I pass it on. Okay, Rochelle is asking if we're going to get new insurance card for whatever benefits we're applying for. If you're making a plan change, you'll get a new insurance card. I believe that Kaiser sends out new cards every year. But if you're on, if these are the same plans that were offered last year and you're not making any plan changes, then you might not get a new insurance card. But you can always log in through to your member portals Kaiser Permanente. That's, and the website is down here, www.kp.org, or actually I believe it's kp.org, for a list of all providers. You can log in and view your ID cards online as well. And all of the contact information for Kaiser is also in this booklet on page, I think it was page 2. Okay, for dental, yes, you will get ID cards for dental. It's a new plan, new policy. So anyone who enrolls in the dental policy will get an ID card. Okay, I don't believe that Avisa has ID cards for vision. Most vision providers don't have ID cards. You just give them your social security number and they can look you up in the system that way. Okay, Rochelle's saying that she does have a vision ID card, which is great. Most carriers don't do that, so that makes it a little bit easier. All right, now we're at the Colonial screen here. So I believe David Mansky is on the phone, and I'm going to let him present the benefits through your voluntary benefits through Colonial. So David, you can take it away.
Awesome. Good morning, everybody. My name is David Mansky. I work with Colonial Life. And normally my wife Shanda is the representative for this group. However, she was in the emergency room yesterday, and we're pending some cardiology results. So until we get those, she's going to be taking some time off, and I'm going to be stepping in to help out. The reason I bring that up, one, obviously we're concerned for her, but two, the situation is I'm going to kind of reference that as we move through these benefits on how her current situation, how Colonial Life is going to help us out with that. So the nice thing about Colonial benefits is that they pay you directly. So these benefits are not going to pay an insurance company. They're not going to pay your doctor. They're not paying your company. This is money that goes right back into your pocket. So we have a variety of plans to choose from. I'm going to talk about those briefly. But the main thing is that this is money that's going to help get you through those deductibles, the co-insurances, all those out-of-pocket expenses that were listed on the medical insurance. These benefits help out with that. And then when we're talking about disability, what that benefit does is it's going to help you keep the lights on. You know, we're out here in Arizona. I know that the power bill doesn't stop paying when I stop going to work, or doesn't stop billing us when we stop going to work. So that puts money back in your pocket. How you choose to spend it is up to you, but that's the overall benefit of what these benefits are going to do for you. So let me get into a little bit of the specifics here. So at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see some of the plans that we have listed. So we're offering disability, accident, cancer, critical illness, and life insurance. So like I touched on with the disability, this is going to cover you if you're out of work, sick, or in an accident, and this money can be used to supplement some of your paycheck. You can supplement up to 60% of your paycheck. That's regulated by state law. We can't go over that. The idea being that we want to help get you better and get you back to work as fast as possible. So with disability, some key points: you can customize the benefit however you want. Anywhere from, you know, if you want a $400 plan all the way up to a $4,000 a month plan, as long as it doesn't cap over that 60% of your income, you're able to utilize that benefit and customize it to how you want it to be used. Additionally, some things that are to consider if you're in the family planning stages of your life, disability is really great because you know that you're already going to be out of work. So the disability policy will come in and it will help you as you're going through the pregnancy or the post-pregnancy process, and allow you to stay home with your child and spend that critical time with them. With disability, I do want to point out that there are some elimination periods and pre-existing conditions. So what I mean by that is, say you had a heart attack in the last 12 months, a heart attack is going to be excluded for the next 12 months of the policy. Now, that doesn't mean that if you break a leg, that will not be excluded. It's only the specific condition that was pre-existing in your medical records. Okay. Moving on to the next policy is accident. This benefit is really great. It's very affordable. You can usually get it for about $4 to $5 a week, or in your guys' case, you're paid bi-weekly, or I'm sorry, every 2 weeks. So look at anywhere between $8 to $10 to $12, depending on the level that you choose. Again, you can customize it. We have several different levels that are available. And what this is going to do is if you're in an accident, it's going to provide you a benefit. Even if it's something as I was in a car accident a couple of years back and nothing happened, but I still had to go to the doctor, still had to get some x-rays done. And we received about $125 total for just going to the doctor for an accident. Now, if something more serious would have happened, it would have paid as the services were rendered. So say I broke a leg, it would pay, you know, another $1,200 or whatever the level on that policy happens to be. And again, this is money that comes right back to you in the form of a direct deposit or a check, whichever one you choose, to help you offset the medical expenses, the co-pays, deductibles, and let's be frank, the time off of work. Because usually if something does happen, it'll put you out of work for a little bit, and it's nice to have that income coming in. The smaller the injury, the smaller the payout. The bigger the injury, the bigger the payout. A lot of people, you know, you think oh, it's a car accident. Honestly, we pay more money on stubbed toes, chipped teeth, just infected bug bites, things like that, than we do on the bigger stuff, because the smaller things happen more frequently. So a very good policy to take a look at. Moving into cancer, what cancer is going to do is it's going to pay you a lump sum benefit up front. You get to pick the amount anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000. So in the unfortunate event that you're diagnosed with cancer, it's going to pay you that $1,000 to $10,000 up front. And then it's going to walk you through the stages of treatment. So depending on the level, again, there's different levels. It can pay anywhere between $500 and $700 per week if you're going through flow and chemotherapy. If you're just taking the non-hormonal pill forms of chemotherapy, the benefit goes down to like, I think it's $200 to $400 per week. So still a very rich benefit. It'll pay for hospitalization, transportation, lodging for you and a companion. So if you have to travel more than 50 miles for cancer treatments, it'll provide that extra assistance for there. Again, it's a very affordable policy. You're probably looking at anywhere between $10 to $12 per paycheck on that. And it's going to indemnify you. It's going to protect you in the event that you do get cancer and help you offset those out-of-pocket expenses. So moving into critical illness, this is the one I'm going to reference in relation to what happened to my wife yesterday. So my wife and I both have critical illness policies. We've had them for many years. And what this policy does is it covers you. It pays a lump sum benefit. You get to pick the amount anywhere from $5,000 to $75,000. We happen to have ours set at $25,000. But if you have any one of 8 specified diseases happen, so heart attack, stroke, end-stage renal failure, hepatitis B, C, or D, occupational HIV, coma, blindness, paralysis, or major organ failure, you're going to get that lump sum benefit. So how it relates to me right now and my family is that my wife she was taken to the emergency room yesterday by ambulance for shortness of breath and chest pains. So right now the ER doctor couldn't provide a diagnosis, which we expected. So she's waiting for a follow-up with the cardiologist. But if that comes back and it says that she experienced a heart attack, my family's going to get a lump sum benefit of $25,000. Why is that important right now? Obviously, $25,000 is a very big amount, but it's important because right now she's unable to work. Right now, the businesses that I run, I'm not able to do those because I'm stepping in to help her with her business. So my family, because of this critical event, has been impacted, and we're having to rearrange the way that we care for our children, the way that we go grocery shopping, the way that we run our, the medical appointments and things like that. That money will come in very, very handy in helping us overcome this and help her get better. So she's not rushing back to work. She's going to be able to take the time that she needs to stay home and, get herself healthy, help care for the family. And rather than rushing back, it'll be a gradual process when she's absolutely ready, not forced back because financially we're gonna be required to. So that policy really good. Again, I do want to talk about it does have a 12-month pre-existing condition. So if again, I'll use heart attack. If you've had a heart attack in the last 12 months, a heart attack will be excluded for the next 12 months. Same with stroke or anything else. Now, as I say that, I do want to point out again that if you had a heart attack in the last 12 months, however, you have a stroke this time, the stroke will still pay. It's just the specific condition, and it's only for 12 months. Okay. Moving on to the term life insurance. The term life insurance is temporary life insurance, so it's going to cover you for a period of time. So if you pick a 10-year policy, it'll cover you for 10 years. At the end of the 10 years, that policy is no longer valid. The reason that it's really good is it's a lot more affordable than some of the other types of insurances out there, be it whole life or universal life. So everybody really tends to not like to talk about life insurance. And at the end of the day, the life insurance, it's really not about us. And so it's kind of important to have these uncomfortable conversations sometimes to make sure that your family is taken care of in the event that something does happen. So highly recommend that everybody carries some amount of life insurance. Our policies are very affordable. Another nice feature about that is right now, if you want to take a policy out up to $250,000, normally after a certain amount, depending on your age, you would have to get what's called a paramed, where they come out and they draw blood and they do all the, take your height and weight and everything else that goes with that. Currently right now, because of the COVID crisis that we're facing, we want to limit the amount of in-person contact that we're having to stop and control the spread of the disease. So what Colonial Life has done is they're offering up to $250,000 with no paramed. So you will still be required to answer the health questions, and you will still go through an RX screening, which means they'll look at the prescriptions that you're taking. But I know a lot of people and a lot of my current clients, they don't like to go through the paramed process. They just don't like having their blood drawn, whatever it happens to be. So if you're in that boat, now is a great time to get some information on it and possibly enroll in a life insurance policy. Okay, I see that there's some questions popping up. I haven't taken a look at them. I will get to them in 1 minute. Let me just finish going over the last thing here, and I promise you I'll keep it short. All right, to access these benefits, you cannot do this through Kronos. Unfortunately, we as a carrier were unable to host those products digitally this year. We'll work on it for future years just to keep things simple. So to enroll in these benefits, you're going to have to call. If you see at the bottom of the screen there, you must call this 188 number to enroll in your benefits. The benefit counselors are available from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and they'll be available from 6/24, June 24th, all the way up to July 1. So we have bilingual capability. So if you need to cover a different language, Spanish preferably, but I know we have capabilities in other languages as well. Just let them know that when you're calling in, and they will be more than happy to accommodate that. The reason that it's important that everybody call in, regardless if you want any of these benefits or you care about these benefits, the reason that it's important is we're going to offer you $10,000 in free accidental death and dismemberment insurance. What that means is $10,000 in life insurance if you happen to be in an accident. So I know people say, oh, well, it's only for an accident. You would be amazed at the amount of times that we pay on this policy, that $10,000, and people, a lot of times they forget about the policy, or it's a spouse that calls in, and it's really a game changer when they get the benefit. Whether they happen to think that, they didn't have any benefits or whatever, that $10,000 comes in to play, and it becomes very important to those families when they need it the most. So I highly encourage you to call that number, and if you don't care about anything else, no pressure, no anything, please just call in and get the $10,000 of free AD&D. Okay, I can't stress that enough. I can't stress how important that is. All right, I'm going to open up my questions.
If you have questions for David, could you answer those so we can get through our other folks here? We're kind of fighting a time crunch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to try and run through these real quick.
Well, you could just answer them in the chat function.
Yeah, I'll answer them in the chat function. I got you. Thank you.
Super. Thank you.
Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and take this back over, and we're going to move on here. Thank you, David. We're going to go on to telemedicine. So telemedicine, this is a really great feature. The carrier is Healthiest You, and it's basically talking with providers, doctors via sort of like a Skype call. They can diagnose many different illnesses via, you just having that video conference on your phone. And it is a low cost to enroll and a low cost fee in order to do that. It saves you a lot of money. You can see a doctor 24/7. If you have a sinus infection or something like that, the last thing that you want to do, especially during these times, is probably go to the urgent care or an emergency room. So you can use your Healthiest You app. It's an app that you download on your phone, and seek a medical provider that way. Then they can also, if they've been able to diagnose it and you need to have a prescription, they can send that prescription to your nearest pharmacy, and you can go and pick that up through the drive-through, and you never have to go inside anywhere. Okay, so this flyer here that's in your booklets gives you a little bit more information on that. It's a $9 per month for employee and family coverage. So even if you're enrolled, for example, as in your medical plan as employee only, you could still use Healthiest You if you have a child that's sick. So that's a really nice feature. Even if you're not enrolled in the medical plan and you enroll in Healthiest You, you can still use this feature. So it's just a $9 a month for employee and family, and it's a great company to get those quick and easy diagnoses that you need. Okay. All right. The next thing I'm going to go over briefly is identity theft. This is through Norton LifeLock, and this is there's two different plans that they're offering, but basically it's an identity alert system. So they're kind of scanning to make sure that your identity is protected. So there's an essential plan that covers those top 5 or 6 things. Address change, they're going to verify that. If you lost your wallet, things like that. Black market web surveillance. And then there's that Premier plan that basically covers everything. And the prices for the Essential and the Premier plan are below whether you enroll as an employee only or employee plus 1 or more, dependent, whether that's a spouse or a child. Okay. So if you do want to enroll with this identity theft through Norton LifeLock, you enroll by contacting Jackie Gamez right here, and her email is right here in your booklet. In Kronos, you're going to see information on this identity theft and Norton LifeLock, but you enroll by contacting Jackie at Norton LifeLock. Okay, and Legal Shield, we have Tanisha Morgan here on the line. And she's going to go over, the benefits of Legal Shield and ID Shield and how that's different from the identity theft that I just went over. So Tanisha, if you'd like to take it away.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Ma'am.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. And I wanted to show my face because I actually want to show you guys some cool stuff with my service. So yes, you did go right in there, and we have a product too. You guys can read on the flyer in front of you. It's a little cheaper. It's about half price, but the things that Legal Shield does that's different from the ID Shield Norton is we're more concerned about the legal situations that people may have when they become a victim of identity theft. And so I'll talk a little bit about that. But I'm Tanisha. My information should be on the sheet. You guys will have a link that you can click to enroll for this product. So we've already created it. It should be on your portal. You can call me with any questions. I will say to start off, no one wants to hear anything about anything legal, but love is grand, divorce is 10 grand. So sometimes people may need my help. So that's why I'm here. You will also have on your portal a document called 15 Areas. This 15 Areas is probably my cheat sheet. It's the best way to describe how to use Legal Shield. It doesn't have to be something major, divorce, bankruptcy, things like that we know you have to go to court for. But what I'm seeing now that's going on since we've had this big scare with COVID is I have a lot of people having problems with landlord-tenant issues, insurance companies not paying claims, Veterans Association, Social Security, IRS issues, creditor harassment. I had to use them against American Airlines that didn't want to give me my airline money back. They just want to give me a credit, but that wasn't how I paid. So I have a lot of individuals going through situations, especially with medical stuff that's happening. They don't have their wills updated. They don't have their power of attorneys. All of those services are free in our service. This is going to cost you about $9 a paycheck. How Legal Shield works is that $9 that you're paying goes into a pool of money. That money goes to Legal Shield, the insurance company. They turn around and they pay the attorney. So when you call, you don't have to worry about a $350 an hour lawyer answering a question. You will pay your $9. He will get paid $350 for that question. He loves you, you love him, everybody wins. So that's the concept of how Legal Shield works. And it's unlimited as far as how many issues you can call about. So it doesn't matter if it happened last year. Pre-existing things in my world are always covered because they will call the lawyer until they have to. So on the screen, I guess what you're looking at, and when you go online, you'll be able to see that legal advice doesn't matter what you are calling about. If I'm right, am I wrong? Can I do something? Can I not? The lawyers can advise you and your family. It's also nationwide. So it doesn't matter where you are, whatever state, whatever issue happens, we can help you, and we can help you in any area of law. So if you have a divorce question, a divorce attorney. If you have a real estate question, get a real estate attorney. You don't have to try to figure out how the service or which attorney do I use. Everything that you will use as far as Legal Shield is going to be on a mobile app. And on that mobile app, it says, hi, Tanisha, what would you like to do today? There's a button that says, call my lawyer. Push the button, phone number is already there. I don't need a membership card. I don't need anything but my cell phone. So anywhere you are, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you push the button, you get the law firm. After hours, you have a big red emergency button right there. 24/7. It doesn't matter. You have the right to an attorney. You have also the right to remain silent, which I realize no one remains silent. That's why they go to jail. So now you can actually push the button and have an attorney help you. And so that's what this mobile app is for, to help you be able to contact us. So residential loans, contracts, documents, wills are free, as you'll notice on the screen. We even have some uncontested divorce, separation, adoption, name changes that are free. That's our only waiting period for 90 days. And 25% discount is going to catch anything serious. So that's if you know you have to go to court for something. It is a divorce. It is a DUI. We can advise you for free, but if you have to hire us, then you'll get a huge discount on that as well. That's kind of how our legal plan works. The family plan will cover yourself, your spouse. You don't have to be married. You can have a significant other. They are covered as long as they're in the same household as you. And any of your dependents up to age 26. So if they're not married, living at home, full-time in college, anywhere in the United States, that is our family plan. It will run you $9 a paycheck, $18 a month. Our identity theft, like I said, it's a little different. So when you go online, you can look at the two products that you have. It's about half price because we bundle it with the lawyers, because most of the time when people call me, it's someone working under their social security number. They've got IRS issues. Someone committed a crime in their name. They have a driver's license with a DUI in a different state. Most of the criminals are not opening a Macy's card. They're usually using our information to actually steal our identity, and when they steal your social, you're going to have legal problems. And so that's kind of why we put those together. It's more than just a credit monitoring service. It's more of an identity information website. And I have them monitor my passport, my medical ID card. I don't want someone using my medical insurance, especially through COVID, and having a rack up all these bills that I have to pay, and it's not me. And so that's what we're looking for. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. I'll try to get around to those. But other than that, I think that's all I have for you guys. I'll try to do that in 5 minutes. I know I'm talking fast. I'm from Chicago. Sorry about that. But I want to see all the information you can get. And you can always call me, email me, whatever you need if you have specific questions. So I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Tanisha. That was perfect. I appreciate that.
No worries.
All right, we're going to move on here to the 401k retirement plan that we're offering through Mutual of America Financial Group. And we're going to let Brooke Hammett take it over and briefly tell us about this 401k and retirement plan. And then once Brooke is done, then we will wrap up and send it back over to Brittany Walker, and she can walk you guys through Kronos and how that's going to look on her end. Okay, so Brooke, take it away.
Okay, I think I was going to share my PowerPoint. Just if I'm not the presenter, then that's fine. I can just kind of go over a little bit about your retirement plan. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, super. Just wanted to make sure that you guys could hear me before I was just talking to myself. So a little bit about Mutual of America. We started back in 1945. This year we are celebrating our 75th anniversary. I'm Brooke Hammett. I'm your individual representative. On the phone with us as part of this presentation is also Matt Gromek. He is your group representative, and he's the one who was able to start and create this plan and was the designer of your 401k. Our company is very unique in the fact that we are a completely salaried representative. Not one person who works for Mutual of America is a commission-based broker or dealer. And what that means to you is that you are not charged any front-loaded funds, you're not charged any maintenance fees, and you're not charged any surrender charges on your account. And when you meet with one of us, any one of us on our team, we are here to help you. We pride ourselves on our customer service, and we want to make sure that you have the very best retirement plan that you could possibly have. You are very, very sweet to move that onto the next screen for me. Some of the main reasons on why you would want to save in a retirement plan. It's really not rocket science. The main goal is to have a giant pile of money so that you can stop working. I mean, really, that's the bottom line. It does have some special benefits to help you to save as you go along. One of them is that if you are adding money on a pre-tax basis on every single paycheck, you are keeping a little bit more of the money that you earned. You are lowering how much you're paying in payroll tax, and you are able to keep a little bit more of your own money. It also lowers your taxable income at the end of every year. So say, for example, you make $30,000 a year and you're a very good saver and you decide to put $5,000 into your retirement plan. At the end of the year, your W-2 is going to show that you only made $25,000, not $30,000, and you are going to be taxed at a lower amount by the IRS. Besides the fact that by adding money to your retirement plan, that is the most outstanding, most beneficial place that you have available to you to truly earn wealth towards retirement. It is designed to weather the ups and downs of the market, and it is a long-term savings vehicle. Moving on to the next page. Every person is eligible to contribute to this plan. They can do that after they've worked for 90 days of employment. The minimum amount that you can contribute is $10 or 1% of salary. And the most that you can add to this plan, which is a really big bucket, the biggest amount that you can add is $19,500 for the year if you're under the age of 50 and $26,000 if you're over the age of 50. I'm sorry, I made a little bit of an error right there. You guys aren't going to have an after-tax contribution in this plan. You guys are only able to contribute on a pre-tax, which is generally considered more beneficial anyway. And for those of you that do have just an extra $19,500 lying around, feel free to add that at your leisure. I know you guys have a lot of unbelievably good benefits, so you might want to spread it around, but adding money to your retirement plan is an important piece of your overall benefit package. I would suggest you guys pick something that's appropriate for your personal budget. Start by, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and then the first thing you want to do is try to increase that a little bit every year. If you're only able to add that $10 as a starting point, great, and then every year try to increase that by whatever you can, whether that's $5, $10, $50, whatever it is that you can increase it by. You also want to review your investments, which we're going to talk about next. And if you have any kind of retirement plans that you have left in your dust, it is always in your benefit to roll it over to where you work now. And the same is true that if you were to leave one step beyond, it is the one benefit that you can take with you and take it to the next employer that you work at. It's called doing a rollover, and you do not have any kind of surrender charges, or it is not a taxable event, and you can pick up your money and take it with you and continue saving at the next employer that you go to. Okay, we're going to talk about investments. When you pick your investment, you want to pick an investment that is appropriate for your timeline to withdrawal or your timeline to retirement. The younger you are, the longer you have until you're going to retire, and that is the time in your life when you can be the most aggressive. That is okay if your balance fluctuates a lot. Right now, since March, we have had one of the largest periods of market volatility. If you are a young person, you have no reason to freak out. This is an okay thing for you to occur, to have happen in your life, is to have market volatility if you are young. If you are in the middle of your career, that's when you want to be more moderate and you are scaling back those risk factors. And if you're going to be very close to retirement, that is when you move into a more conservative position. And again, if you have market volatility, you should never freak out when you look at your retirement plan, because you should be appropriately invested for someone who's about to retire. You should be at a low risk. You should have your money in a very conservative spot. And if the market is fluctuating wildly, you are not going to be affected by that. Moving on. So
Yes.
here is where funds fall within the scale of investment. At the very top, you'll see the most aggressive choices, and at the very bottom, you'll see the most conservative choices. On average, most people, no matter what their age, are going to put their money in the middle between the large cap equity funds and the mid cap equity funds. To translate that into just plain old English, That is basically putting your money in the stock of the largest Fortune 500 companies in the United States, like Google and Amazon and Coke and Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and John Deere. And mid-cap equity funds stands for the purchase of stock in medium-sized Fortune 500 companies. I personally like to think of Target in that category. As you go towards the top, international equity funds are going to be companies outside the United States and Canada. Small cap is going to be small-sized Fortune 500 companies. They have been the most highly affected companies during this current downturn. And then you have the real estate investment fund, which is the purchase of commercial real estate. At the bottom, you have balanced funds, fixed income funds, which is another name for bond funds, and the money market funds. Those are your generally considered your conservative choices. Moving on. These are all of the funds you have available to you through Mutual of America. When you're picking your investment, please don't fret. You have Matt and I and Bailey to help you with any picking of your funds, so don't feel that you're left out in the cold. Most people pick the ones that you see right there on the top left corner. They don't want to necessarily be responsible for moving it or picking individually like they're picking off of an a la carte menu. And they pick the fund that's appropriate for the year that they're going to retire. And then all of the other funds on this page are represented inside there in a very diverse portfolio. So for example, I was born in 1975. I will be retiring in the year of 2040. So I would put 100% in the 2040 retirement fund. I'm not missing out on anything. I'm just not logging in and changing my investment according to my age as I get older. I can just leave it in there, kind of fix it and forget it and not think about it. Those of you that want to have a more individualized choice, you are certainly welcome to. There is no commission or fee or charge if you want to change your investment, and you can pick from any of the other companies or funds that you see on this page. We do partner with over 10 other companies, including Oppenheimer, Fidelity, Vanguard, T. Rowe Price, Goldman Sachs, Neuberger Berman. We have a lot of different options if you want to pick individually. Okay, how can you take your money out? This is not a savings account. This is not a brokerage account. You may take your money out upon termination of employment, or if you reach age 59 and a half, or if you have some kind of disability or hardship. You can go ahead and move forward. There are other ways to save for those of you that are looking for other things. We do have an after-tax account or a Roth IRA. If you are interested in saving on an individual basis outside your employer plan, you can discuss that with me personally. Sometimes people have where they have inherited, they have sold a home, they have sold a business, they have money sitting in their checking account that they would like to have it earn a higher rate than 0.002 or whatever is offered in your checking account. If that's you and you have some extra money that you'd like a place to have it invested and you don't want to have any commission associated with it, you can feel free to contact Matt or myself and we'll discuss it with you on an individual basis. There is my picture. There's me. This is our contact information. Please feel free to reach out. Every one of you should have received or will be receiving in the next few days a passcode. You will be receiving that through email and through the regular mail. What you'll do is you're going to go to mutualofamerica.com/enroll, and then it's going to walk you through the very easy steps on how to enroll in your plan. If for some reason you have any questions or concerns, Matt and I are both here, and Bailey there are here to give you a hand. We can go through it with you. We can do a WebEx. We can walk you through the screens. Please don't feel that you are abandoned. We are more than happy to help you with any step in the process. And we're very happy to be your brand new provider of this new 401k. And we're very excited to partner with you. So please feel free to reach out if you need us. That might be the fastest presentation I've ever done in the history of this job in 9 years.
Oh, thank you, Brooke. Thank you so much. All right, we're pretty much wrapping it up. There's some tips on the back of your pages here that we'll just kind of what I already went over, but just ways to save yourself money using telemedicine, generic prescriptions, things like that, making sure you're seeing in-network contracted providers, only visiting the emergency room in case of emergency, things like that. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make Brittany the presenter because she's going to show you some chrono stuff on her end. So take it away,
If
Brittany.
anyone has questions that we didn't go ahead and get to during the course of the presentation, on page 4 of the booklet that Madison sent out to you are contact numbers, emails for everyone that was on the presentation today. So feel free to reach out to those folks. Should you didn't get a question answered, or you think of something later on, please go ahead and use us as resources. Sorry, Brittany.
No, you're fine, Tim. So hi, everybody. Thank you so much for making it. Now, remember, this is going to be recorded. Once we have the recordings, I will be putting them up on Box. We'll also have them implemented into PlanSource. But for right now, we're just going to show you guys that when you first log into Kronos, you come over here and you click the little hamburger, as they all call it, and the My Info, which is just the single person tab. I know that for our supervisors and for Maddie, you guys have the My Team. You're going to go to the one person. All the way down at the bottom, you'll see the links here. You'll click on that, and this lovely little Kronos Benefit Center by PlanSource option comes up. So when you click on that, it'll take you straight into PlanSource. There's no secondary login. You don't have to try and create and remember a new password. It's all single sign-on. So once you log into Kronos, you can get into PlanSource in and out, no problems. So right now, this is where on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see my profile information. If you have emergency contacts, you can put them in here, your contacts, your ID cards. When you get your benefits cards from Kaiser, from Lincoln, from anybody, you can go ahead and upload a copy here if you want. And then this way, once you go to a provider and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot my card, you can just send them a copy directly from PlanSource. So this is also where you will go in and add family members. I do know that for a lot of people who have dependents, we got the basic information in there. I do suggest, if you haven't already, to go in and update your family members with their social security numbers, because I know it was difficult for me because I didn't want to go out and ask everybody for their socials, for their kids and their spouses and everything. If we got it and it's in there, just double check that it's right. If not, try and fix it yourself. If you're unable to, let me know, because I'm the only other person other than Tim Mackey who has the access to get that fixed in there. Same thing when you go to my profile and you go through and view all of your contact information, you'll click on the edit info. The only things I think we'll be able to edit is the email address. I think everything else is just based off of the administrator level. So once that happens, then you'll come back. You can click on the little home button, which is just the one-step logo. It'll take you back to the home screen. Mine says continue enrollment because I started messing around with it the other day. But yours would say open enrollment or something to that effect of update your benefits or something along those lines. So this is the whole process right here. You'll see we have the medical, telemed, dental, vision. If you are going to decline a benefit, we do still need you to decline the benefit. Right here where it says decline coverage, you'll click on it right down here and it'll ask you for a reason. So this would be if you have medical through the state, if you've got it through a spouse, if you have it because you were former military or something along those lines. You'll just select the option and then click confirm decline. Because I'm not declining anything. When you click on the view plan, this gives you the plan breakdowns that Sarah went over previously. Mine looks different because this is Arizona, so we have Blue Cross and Blue Shield out here. Your guys' information will have just Kaiser. You won't be able to see the Blue Cross and Blue Shield, which is just perfect dandy. This way nobody gets confused on what they can get and what they can't get. Once you've gone through, you decided which plan you want, you click on update cart. And up here in the top right, it'll start showing you what it will come out per pay period. It's not per month, it's per paycheck. So you'll just go through each one of them. If you decline, it'll say, are you sure you want to do that? You say yes. If you don't, then you can just click on update cart. If you are changing your coverage level for any of these, right here where it says family covered, right here it's just me. My son is not on my insurance. If he was, we would add a family member, designate if they live at home or not, if they're enrolled into Medicare or not. So this way Medicare knows they're become the secondary payer and our insurance would realize that they become the first payee. Once you have all that information filled out, you'll click add, and then When you click on, there's an option here somewhere where it says to change your coverage or family coverage. The information will pop up in a box and push all this stuff down, and it'll have your family listed. You'll just want to make sure that they have a little check mark in the top right corner of their, pretty much their profile block. Once everything looks good, you can keep moving on. We'll go through just every single one of the slides. Once you get to the colonial stuff, because it is informational only, it's just saying, hey, this is the information we have available to you guys. If you have questions or anything, it gives links at the top as well as provides the documentation, and you just click on the I understand. So this is just basically saying, yes, I know that Colonial is offered to me, and if I want that coverage, I have to reach out on my own to a rep. And then you'll come to your second to last page. This is where you go through and you just double check to make sure everything looks good. If you aren't sure about it, it tells you your coverage level, the start date of your benefits. The current benefits that everybody has now ends July 1st. The coverage that you select during open enrollment begins August 1st. So then you'll click on review and check out. And this is your last chance to make any kind of changes to double check that this is the plan that you in fact want. If you have other questions about it or anything like that, you can click on go back to available plans, and it'll take you back to show you all of the Kaiser plans that are available. So if you think, oh no, I clicked on the wrong one, you still have one last chance before you go through and finalize everything. Once you're here, you go ahead and click on checkout. I'm not going to do it just yet, just because I want to make sure that everybody in Arizona can watch the process too. Once you click on checkout, you'll have a similar page come up, but this information up here changes, and we'll give you an option to have the verification of your completed enrollment either emailed to you. They can have it set up to where once your open enrollment's over, they can email you verification if you want. You can just print off the confirmation, however you guys want to do it. And I believe that's it. If you come over here to the left on the documents tab, this does break down every single thing as far as the plan coverages. So it's basically the benefit summaries without actually getting the paper benefit summaries. So if you guys want to view it, you can click on the view, you can click on the actual name itself, and it'll automatically download. You'll open it up, and this is pretty much exactly what you would see if we handed you the paper copies. So does anybody have any questions or anything? I think I'm pretty good on that.
There was just one clarification I wanted to make, Brittany. I think that you just said that their benefits ended July 1st. I think that was just an error. No, so your current plans go through July 31st, and these new benefits start August 1st.
Right.
So, Sydney, if you need, so you have to do all of this by July 3rd?
July 31st.
July 6th. July 6th is we're doing open enrollment runs from June 26th to July the 6th. So you need to go in the portal sometime during that time frame and pick your benefits.
July 26th to July 6th, okay.
June 26th to July 6th.
Yeah. That's what I meant, sorry.
Brittany?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Kenesha, I just forgot to mention one thing for Legal Shield, because we're not really like open enrollment once a year benefit, because if someone's losing their house in June, we don't make them wait a year. So I think the paperwork we have has everyone set up. If you want the service, you can enroll throughout the year, but you will have a first of the month effective date for that month. So if you want it in February, it'll start March 1st. If you want it in June, it'll start July 1st. So that's how we set it up for you, just in case you need the services throughout the year. If you become a victim of identity theft, I can't make you wait a year. So
right. No, perfect. Thank you very much.
Very good. Well, with that, I think we are at the end of our presentation. I want to thank everyone, all the presenters, all of you that showed up today. I hope that you take advantage of all the benefits that One Step Beyond has provided. And if you should have any questions, I would send you back to that page 4 in the booklet that has contact information, and you will be able to reach out and contact any of our presenters that were on the call today. Thank you all.
Everybody, we really appreciate it, especially Tim. Thank you for getting all of this coordinated. We really appreciate your help. And obviously everyone else in the room, you know, text me if you have questions too, and I can help direct you to the right person. But just a quick announcement for my staff. So switch over to Teams now, because Kim is going to start her training on Teams for the next hour. But again, thank you everybody. I appreciate it.